Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Happy Wednesday, by the way, to part two of preparation for what we believe is going to be an awesome opportunity for those of you that have been following. And we're talking about autism, right? And we resifted on Monday and repositioned the challenge, and we've been working really hard on getting things nailed down for you. And so, we're talking to you from overwhelmed to empowered in 5 days, right? And our goal is to take you through just that, from overwhelmed, where you just don't know if things could change. You just don't know if you could take one more day, right? And I mean, we want to remind you that yes, you can. And as you haven't heard already from our speaker and expert, she was in that space, and she is now coming back and standing in her purpose around autism and raising children and disabilities. This is Disability Month, and we recognize that. And we've been serving from a perspective of autism, but we don't want to exclude anyone in that space. But we really want you to hear us from the perspective of the autism and raising children. And I come to it from the divorce side and going through the divorce. And, either just starting it, realizing you can't save it, and you have to let it go, to being all by yourself, and then having to deal with the child without the preparation, without the support, and with autism, and finding your way like she has done. So we're excited, and I want to ask, and before I bring her on, this is something I just thought of. If you hear this message and you've been following it, or if you just pick this up and you have a question, you have a burning desire, and you really need some help, drop that in. We still leave enough space in there. So as we do these opportunities to come in and learn and grow and become part of the community, we always see outside perspective. So please, if you have something and you know of something and you're thinking about something, we haven't touched on it yet, please drop that in the comment section, DM either Tiffany or myself, and let's make sure we collect anything that can be useful for yourself and for others in this journey that we're going, right? And this pathway that we are pursuing to get yourself from overwhelmed to empowered. And whether you're doing it as a couple, you just found yourself by yourself, and found yourself by yourself. Anyway, so let me just get back to what we're doing today. We're gonna have some fun as always, right? And by the way, I always like to make sure you know who I am. My name is Jeff Tyson. I'm affectionately known as the Comeback King and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, who puts these programs together and goes out and finds experts and like Tiffany, and really bring them to the stage so they can amplify their message worldwide and begin to make a movement around support, make a movement around empowering people, right? So let's get busy today. She's got some good stuff for you, as always. Take some good notes, show some love in the comments. Let us know where you're coming from, and always support our guests. That's all we got to ask for today. Anyway, so you guys know who I'm bringing up to the stage. Help me bring to the stage on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon our expert and my dear friend, Tiffany Coleman.
Good day, everyone. Good
What's
day.
up?
Today it
Yeah,
is. Well, I say it's Wednesday. It is
yeah.
Wisdom Wednesday.
Wisdom. I can use some too. That's for sure.
So we are going to shed some light on some things and give us some wisdom to impart to your audience today.
Yes.
It is just a great day. The sun is shining. No matter
Mm,
what's going on, we just have to put on the right mind. We have
yeah.
to, clothe ourselves just like we put on our clothes. We have to change our mindset each and every day.
Yeah. No, I love that. Close our mind, right? What jacket are you going to put on? You going to put that negative, worry, fear, and doubt jacket on, or you going to put on that jacket of prosperity and hopefulness and service? So I love that. I love that. Good to see you today, my friend.
Yes, yes. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's jump into it. I know you got things to do, and I'm gonna turn it over to you for a quick minute.
All right. So today we want to talk about soundness of mind. There's a passage that says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Well, what does that mean? A sound mind. It means that you're thinking clearly enough to be aware of what you're doing and therefore to be responsible with what you're doing and your actions. So sometimes we say that we're like, oh, you have the soundness of mind, but it is understanding where you are and taking accountability for it. Sometimes we may not feel at our best, but we have to take accountability for that. We can renew our minds daily, and we have to do that. My partner says, hey, this stinking thinking, a lot of times we allow things to saturate our mind. We maybe are around people that may not be the best in our lives. And so we have to begin to do what I call an eviction. We have to evict those thoughts that are not good for us, those people that are not good for us, and find people, begin to replace those people and places and things with things that are edifying to our soul and to our mind. And so, sometimes we kind of feel funny, like, okay, I've got to let everything in my life. No, we have to be responsible for what comes in, because if we put garbage in, garbage is going to come out. So we want to make sure that each and every day we renew our mind, make sure that we are doing things positive, having those mirror moments that we talked about earlier this week, reflecting and looking, even if you have to stand in the mirror and encourage yourself as a parent dealing with a child with a disability. Sometimes you've just got to take that moment and just inhale and exhale. And sometimes that's all you have is those few seconds to yourself. But do that so that you don't forget yourself, because sometimes it's very difficult when you're going through transitions in life. I know when I was dealing with the death of my mother, it wasn't until someone grabbed my hand and said, are you okay? And sometimes we're so busy moving, 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 that we forget that we're a human being that has to be cared for too. We cannot put on the mask for our child, for our young adult, without putting on the mask for ourselves. So, figuring out that balance and finding that soundness of mind is understanding that you can be responsible for your actions. What's going on around you, you may not be able to change, but you can change how you respond to it.
Yeah. And Tiffany, how did you change? I mean, what was something that you did that they can probably do right away that may already have done and it hasn't worked out right, and maybe just need some refreshers? What did you do?
One thing I did was I started. I think it's in I want to say Asian culture. They don't even have the word difficulty or something
Mm,
bad. It is an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. What is this opportunity trying to teach me, trying to train me on? What is it that I need to learn? What's the lesson to be
yeah,
learned in this situation? It is not just, everything is not gloom and doom. Maybe it's to teach you patience. Maybe it's to teach a lesson on giving yourself grace when we make mistakes. Maybe it is, so that someone else can see what you are going through and saying, you know what, I have an example out here in the world.
mm,
When I was going through the things that I had, the challenges I was going through, I had to start to recognize that, hey, God places us in the earth, and he allows other people to rotate through our lives so that they can see, oh my God, if Tiffany made it through that,
mm,
if Mr. Tyson made it through that, then you know what? I too can make it through it. And sometimes we forget that. We
yeah,
think it's all about us. But remember
mm,
that just as other people are pouring into you, you are pouring into other people, whether you want to or not, you're
yeah,
pouring into them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes what you're pouring is full of stinking thinking, and you know,
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's that way. And I gotta share this with you. I saw it today, and I think it fits with what you're talking about. I was reading something today, and this guy was asking, he asked the opinion of someone who is like, kind of like a mentor, really helpful, and he serves people, right? And he started out with a message, and this guy is all about what you're talking about, you know, um, having guarding your mind, having responsibilities, being accountable for what you think, and just uplifting and encouraging people. And this person, as he starts out by saying, you know, what I'm doing, the world is falling apart, and there's no opportunity for me. what do you, if I go to another place, how do you think, can I reposition myself and be successful in this other place? And I'm thinking, how often do we say to ourselves the very things that we say to ourselves or say out loud are the very things that lock us down,
Mhm.
that take away the opportunity,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
not even know it. I mean, be oblivious to how we are so conditioned
Yes.
to say the things and not being aware of what we're saying and the impact of what it has on us.
Yes. Yes.
And
And
that's kind of what you're saying.
yeah, and that's so true. And that reminds me, I think when I was a child, remember they used to have, I think it was a nursery rhyme that said, "The sky is falling, the sky
Yeah.
is falling," you know? And so we can either stand there and see the sky falling, or we can pick up those pieces and begin to build something new. You
Yeah.
know, we can
Yeah.
say, you know what? The sky might be falling in my life, but what piece can I pick up? What can I take from as part of this journey? There's something that we can get from every experience, whether it's good, the bad, the ugly. We just have to, in our mind, change our thinking and say, you know what? This may not be the best situation, but it is. My situation could be better than someone else's. It could
Mm.
be worse than someone else's. And again, I challenge those parents that are going through the daily monotony of caring for their child and the stressors and all of those things. And someone recently said this to me, and it is so profound. They said, they were talking with a parent that had a child with a disability, and that child maybe couldn't do some things, and there was a typical parent with a typical child, and he said, you know what, some days I wish my kid couldn't do some things.
Mm.
Sometimes if we look at the different perspectives, we're all complaining about something. We're all, well, maybe my kid talks too much. Well,
Yeah.
I remember the day when my kid couldn't talk at all. So
Yeah.
so, so we have to sit in that moment and enjoy that moment and understand that we are just going through it. We are going through what we're going through for a reason, a season, and sometimes for a lifetime. Autism is a lifetime disability, but that doesn't mean it has to be seen as a burden for a lifetime. We
Yeah.
can change our thinking, we can change our perspective and say, you know what? This is a blessing. Again, it's a gift that every day I get to unwrap and I get to explore something new and exciting about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so beautifully spoken and so true, right? I mean, and we all can do it.
Yes.
And we know how heavy the burden is. We know how heavy the load can be and exhausting,
Yes.
right? Life can be, especially with all it. And then you have life going on around you on top of everything else. So we get that. And that's really part of why we're showing up and why we want people to hear the message of hope,
Yes.
right? And to step into the communities that are out there and the resources that are available and not take this journey by themselves. So as we're dropping something for them today, Tiffany, you dropped us some fire already. How do you want to recap this thing so I can then let you go and get on with your day? What can you tell us for today? Kind of
So
clue.
so again, part of that soundness of mind is understanding this. We have to evict fear and
Mm,
stand on faith and knowing that, hey, what I am going through is I am going through it. And so part of that is creating a village. And we are trying to provide that here in this community, as well as just creating a physical community and understanding sometimes you got to evict some people, you got to evict some places you go to, and understand that we should all have what I call our Fab Five. Those should be five people that we can go to. Maybe you can't get five. Sometimes it's difficult to find five people, but try to find three. Find people that are, I say, at least have three. You should find someone who is going through what you are currently going through, someone who's already gone through what you're going through, and someone who has made it through it. And
mm,
so that's the in, the through, and the out. I always think of that there's a fast food chain called In and Out Burger. So we want to make sure that we have someone that's been in it, or that's currently in it, someone that's going through it, and someone that's out of it. It's like going through that fast food chain. You
Yeah.
don't stay in that line forever. You
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it might feel like it, but hey, you're eventually going to get up to that window. They're going to give you the things that you need so that you can drive on and enjoy the fullness and the gift of the meal that's being prepared. So we want to make sure that you start to do that. And that's what this community is about. It is about finding someone who's in it, who's been in
Mm.
it, who's going through it, and who's coming out of it. There are different ages, different stages of a disability, and we don't want you to feel alone. We want you
Mm.
to understand that there is a team, and together we can do it. We can help you. We can help you through the difficult times. Just as you alluded to earlier, we've already had many people reach out, and it is such a blessing and an honor to share this space and to create this place where they can come to and ask questions, and then we can disseminate resources, or we can tell them, hey, this is what you might want to try. Ask your practitioner about this. It is so important. Again, if you can't find five, find the three so that you can make it through each and every day. Someone to support you, someone to lend a listening ear. And then it is Wisdom Wednesday. Wisdom is so important, to have somebody that can download into you words
Mm.
of wisdom when you are feeling like you are at the very bottom of life.
Yeah.
Someone that has been through it, that says, you know what, been there, hit rock bottom, but you can get up. And sometimes getting up is just, maybe you can only get on your knees, but
Mm.
hey, getting on your knees is better than being with your face flat in the ground. And so if you can, and even if you're prostrate and you just, all you can do is turn over, you can. And so we want you to look up, and we
Yeah.
want you to know that there are going to be people to surround you, to love you, and to help you through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. In, through, and out, right? And that In and Out Burger has a great burger. I mean, it's those not so what you meant anyway, but yeah, I like that. And find three if you can't find five,
Yes.
right? And man, yeah, and sometimes it'll be people that you've never met before,
Right.
right? And like you've always been saying, reach out. Don't be afraid. If you're not sure how to communicate it, we can help you with that. If you're not sure who to talk to, we can help you with that. Because at the end of the day, that overwhelm that you feel, we want you to know that you can be empowered. Stay hopeful, right? No matter what, how hard it is that you don't have to take the journey alone. So I love that piece, Tiffany. And as always, man, I'm so grateful for what you bring to this and your expertise and your love to help other people. So I can't wait till we get this whole challenge kicked off. I don't know if you heard me, but I kind of asked before you go. I just kind of asked to the audience to kind of see if there's something that we may not be speaking of or we may have missed. And so kind of be on the lookout for that if you get that we can bring in to the challenge. We still have a little time to maybe bring that space or the subject into our space, as we launch this challenge piece.
Yes, and feel free to DM us if you have questions, if you have something that is concerning you. What's probably a question for you is a question for another parent. So we
Mm.
want to make sure that this is not just focused on what we need, but what you need. What questions you have, resources you may have questions about. We want to make sure that you get what you need. We are here to help. We're here to listen with our ears, and we are here to help answer the questions that you have and try to bring some relief to what it is you are going through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, day to day. Yeah, let's come to play day to day. I like that. Thank you so much. So, all right, hey, look, thank you again for blessing this and bringing this fire to the audience, and we'll look forward to more of you later on this week.
Yes. And again, make sure you keep that soundness of mind and that hope. Give yourself grace. each and every day. Have that mirror moment every morning. Get up and say something positive about you and
Yeah.
your child, what you
Yeah.
are going through. Just be grateful. Find one word that expresses the gratitude of
Mm.
that moment. Do that every day so that you can renew your mind and have the peace, joy, and favor that is part
Mm.
of your life. You are a special gift, and we thank you for the hard work that you do every day in caring for your special loved one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Wow. All right. Thank you for wrapping it up for us. I love that. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you, Tiffany.
Bye
Great
bye.
job. Bye bye. Well, I don't have anything else to say after she just closed it up like that. I mean, so I'm going to say this, and we'll see you at another time. Be on the lookout, as we talked about, for more information about our challenge, and make sure that if you do have a question, you send it to us. You reach out to us, right? I mean, we may think we have all the answers, but we don't. We know we don't. You guys have information that can be very helpful as we put this thing together. So thank you, thank you, thank you again. Share this information like always. And she go back and listen to the things that she was talking about today about, the evicting and cleaning out the mind, cleaning out your circle, flushing things down the toilet. And yes, it's going to be people that are close to you, people that are supposed to love you are probably going to be the ones you have to evict. If you're not sure how to do that, get a hold of us and we can help guide you through it so that you don't have to take that piece alone, right? Because, man, it doesn't matter who the person is. If it's bringing you down, you need to reposition yourself, like she said. So get that, get ready to evict some folks that she talked about and find those three people, the in, through, and out. And we'll see you again real soon. As we always say, come back King Enterprises community and with Tiffany calling, let's make sure we get rid of the stinking thinking. See opportunities, the comebacks as opportunities and not limitations. And stop taking this journey by yourself. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a good Wednesday. Take care. And remember, don't take this journey by yourself anymore. Bye bye.